Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kimberly. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3, and today's video is going to be all about the curriculum choices that I'm choosing for my family for the 2021-2022 school year. First of all, I want to preface this that we are year-round homeschoolers. So some of our curriculum that was from last year and the stuff we're going to be moving into this new school year with, we don't rush to get it done to make sure that it is finished in the 21-22 school year. We just slow and steady, we go through the material and we get it done when we get it done. And honestly, we usually get all of our stuff done before the next fall. Especially my kids are really young, so I do not want to push them too hard to finish the workbook within a normal typical public school year. That is not my goal with homeschooling. My little mantra is relaxed consistency. So as long as you're consistently chugging along and we're making progress in the book, I feel my children are exactly where they need to be. And that's the blessing of homeschooling, moving as fast or as slow as they need to. So the materials I'm going to present to you right now are going to be the new ones that we're going to be starting here in not too long. Like I said, we homeschool all year long, so I don't take a 2 or 3 month break in the summer for our schooling. We only take maybe, honestly, it depends on our family and what we have planned and going. So, our break could be anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks, but we're still doing little things, like little anchors in our day. We'll still do morning time, it just may be a little shorter during the summer. And of course, we're still doing our read aloud, we're still doing independent reading, a little bit of writing. There's little things sprinkled in because, kids do enjoy some structure and some rhythm and flow. So, but we don't put it all aside for, 2-3 months. And then I don't have to worry about, them forgetting things and then having to spend so much time reviewing, which typically happens in the public school setting. You take a large break, you're not doing anything, and then the first month and a half of public school is just review of the last few months that your child just attended. So I don't have to deal with that, which is fabulous. But again, we just go with the flow, and I'm really excited to show you some of the curriculum that I chose to incorporate in my homeschool this year. I quickly want to mention the ages of my kids currently. I have a 7-year-old going on 8, and being that we've homeschooled from the start, I don't put value on what grade she is in. So she's just at the level that she is at, and if I had to compare her to public school, based on her age, she would be going in to 2nd grade. But I can just say, based on the levels that I've chosen for her, that she's anywhere between 2nd and 4th grade, depending on the subject. So we just move along at her pace. And so some of the levels kind of may be all over the place, but that's just where she is. And then I have a 4-year-old who Mia, she's doing kindergarten work. We started doing her preschool stuff when she was 3, and now she is 4. She'll be 5 this summer, and we have been chugging along through her kindergarten stuff, so we'll just continue with that. And then I have a 3-year-old, Eli, that will be turning 4 at the end of summer, and we're going to be just starting formal, somewhat formal stuff that only takes 10 to 15 minutes. But this will be the first time he actually has a school book that he'll be sitting alongside me doing some stuff, and he's really excited to jump in with us. All right, guys, so what I have chosen for language arts to teach my kids how to read and beginning writing, I have chosen The Good and the Beautiful. This is arguably probably the most popular language arts curriculum right now that is out on the market. It is a Christian curriculum. It is, universal truths about the Christian faith. So you're not going to get any specific faith doctrine in here that could be specific to a certain denomination. It's just, simple basic truths like Jesus loves you, things like that, treat people with kindness. So I know there's a million videos out there about wondering if this is compatible with any Christian faith, and it is, in my opinion, completely compatible. I am Catholic. I feel that this is an amazing curriculum, and I don't feel I've used it since preschool all the way through now to my daughter's level, and I don't feel that it is teaching anything that isn't compatible with my faith. So I'm first going to show you what my daughter is finishing up on for this school year for 2020, 2021. So we're right at the end of the level 1. So this would be considered like your first grade. This is the little reader that comes with it. And this is the course book. So the reader has all sorts of different stories in there. They prompt you when to read this book. So super cute little stories in there. Everything's really wholesome, and you don't have to, it's just all very sweet. So this is the level 1 course book. What's wonderful about the Good and the Beautiful is, even though I prefer to purchase their books printed for me, all of their language arts from level 1 all the way to, I believe, level 6 or 7 is completely free online in PDF form. So you can download this entire thing. It's identical. Every single page, like you're not getting a different version. This is exactly the same. Things like that. All of it's completely compatible. The PDF, or if you choose to purchase it pre-printed, you can get their language arts for completely free, which is wonderful. So if you're homeschooling on a budget and you just want to print, page by page by page, you are more than welcome to do so. So this is the level 1 that she's finishing up. This program is just a rock star in teaching your child how to read and learning basic grammar. So we really love it. So she's finishing up level 1. And then we use math lessons for a living education. This is level 3. Once again, my oldest daughter is 7. She is right at the end of this book, and we'll be moving on, obviously, to level 4. And what I love, this is from Master Books. What I love about this, it is sweet and simple and easy. Every single lesson starts with a little story that builds upon itself. So the characters are the same, whether you're starting with level K or if you are all the way through level 6. So this goes all the way to grade 6 or level 6, whatever your child is at. And then we plan to switch over to teaching textbooks once I'm done with this. But my daughter loves math. This isn't exhausting her with like busy work. So like you open this up and you're like, oh my gosh, not exhausting with like busy work. We seriously took like, do this section and then take a break. Do this section, take a break. Do this section, take a break. Things like that. So, but it goes into so much. There's not a lot on each page, which is wonderful. It doesn't overwhelm my child. She always feels like she is winning every time she is doing this, and she has comprehended absolutely everything in this book. And it's a winner, so we're not changing, and I've just been really happy with it. It's also extremely affordable. I believe Master Books has sales all the time on their curriculum. This comes up for sale maybe once or twice a year, but I believe when it's not on sale, it's around $40 for your year's math curriculum that we use from Master Books. We really like this. We also use the Good and the Beautiful for our handwriting. My oldest is finishing up level 4. We do 1 page a day
My daughter has asked to do cursive like 2 years ago. She started. So when she was like 5, she wanted to know how to do cursive. So we started off with a different book, and then we ended up moving to this, and it's been great. She's 7 now. So this is the level 4. I've been really happy with it. All my kids were early writers. They held pencils and crayons and things like that well. Once again, we just do one page. We don't do like both sides. We just do one at a time. And this has been absolutely wonderful. I tried to use a different cursive book and she hated it. So she likes it. She can doodle and color and do things like this. So she's right at the end of level 4. So it gets harder into more sentences and things like that. But she's loved this. We are moving on to level 5 here this summer. So handwriting is something that we continue to do all summer long. We never stop doing handwriting on our quote-unquote summer break. And I noticed that it's significantly smaller, the font, from level 4, which shouldn't be a problem for my daughter. I love that it still has the little doodles after, she completes a page. It's moving into more sentences. And this is going to be wonderful. And I know she's really going to like it. So yeah, that's handwriting 5. And then once we finish up with level 1 of the language arts, which we're right at the end. So once we finish level 1, we'll be moving on to level 2. I'm assuming maybe about August. Possibly we will jump into this. So the level 2 language arts from the Good and the Beautiful, it came with this shared reader. So it seems like these are just all chapter books in here. And I love the illustrations. These are longer stories. And this is something my daughter and I will sit together. We will read. So it has The Good Rain, The Chipmunk That Went to the Church, My Daddy Long Legs, Who Lives in This Meadow, and George Washington Carver. So this is our shared reader. We'll sit on the couch together and read through this. And then this is the level 2 personal reader. So obviously she'll do this on her own time. It has several different books in it, which is wonderful. These pages are really glossy. There's some really beautiful illustrations in it. Again, The Good and the Beautiful is all about keeping things really wholesome. I suggest that if you don't feel like your child would love these kind of illustrations, please go a different route. The Good and the Beautiful has their own library of different books. So if you don't want to do the share readers, you can go and choose something else that would correspond, or don't even get their books at all. Again, make your curriculum work for you. Don't be a slave to your curriculum. So this is the level 2 book. Again, it's very similar. So these are like the sight word ladders. What I love about the sight word ladders is I rip these out. So I rip these out and then I cut them into just like the rectangles, and I laminate them and I put them on a ring. So this is what I've done for my kindergartner, is I just laminate them, cut them, I hole punch it and put it on a ring, and we just work through one ladder at a time until it's mastered. So I'll do the same exact thing for this for her. These ladders are way long compared to the level 1, so that's a bit new, but it's all set up the same. You're going to have your picture study in here. That's part of what makes the curriculum beautiful, right? And everything's quick and easy. You read what's in blue, you do parent reads what's in blue, and then you do what's in black. I mean, it's just so quick, easy, very, very comprehensive, and it's worked fabulous for teaching my children how to read. So I really like The Good and the Beautiful. Another curriculum that I don't have right here, because it's in digital, is Brave Writer. So we do use the Brave Writer curriculum. This is a secular curriculum. It is wonderful, absolutely awesome. I do use Brave Writer along with the Good and the Beautiful, but I alternate it, especially because sometimes the Good and the Beautiful, like anything that you're doing day in and day out, it gets really dry. So every once in a while, I will throw in, like every 2 months, we'll throw in a Brave Writer book study. So Brave Writer stuff is all digital. I actually printed this out on my own and binded it. There's writing projects that you can get from Brave Writer, and then there's their actual language arts program that teaches your child grammar through actual novels, which is wonderful. You'll read the novel and they'll pull out passages. Your child does the copy work. They're learning how to spell through the copy work. You're enjoying amazing read aloud literature with your child, and then you're going to learn the grammar right from that book. So it's wonderful. This is Jot It Down. I'm going to be doing this with my oldest this year, as well as with Mia, who is 4, going to be 5. I mean, if Eli wants to jump in and do it, they're more than welcome. So what I like about Jot It Down is that it gives you a whole year of writing, like month by month. A whole school year, and there's many different ways that you can do it. Just trying to pull. So there's like a fairy tale one. You can read several different versions of Rapunzel, and then there's some questions that you can ask. And if your child is not good or struggling with writing, they can just draw pictures. That is writing as well, or doing oral narration, and it just gives you different writing projects. So the fairy tale, you can do Rapunzel, they have the Frog Prince, Goldilocks, Princess and the Pea, I messed up that page, Ugly Duckling, things like that. And it goes all the way through to different posters you can make that count as writing, and research projects, doing a little animal mini book. And it explains how to do every single thing, and you can break it down by week. You do this on the first week. So one project doesn't have to take just 1 week. You could take this entire project and have it be 4 weeks long, which is amazing. So you could take this particular Jot It Down curriculum that I'm using for the youngest kids as fast or as slow as you need it to be. So 1 week for just research, organization, caption and writing, and then bind the album, and you have your photo journal that takes a month long. It is just a really, really great curriculum. They have a wonderful podcast. I did a video about the best homeschool podcasts that I feel are just awesome. I can link that in the description box if you want to watch that video. But we're going to be incorporating Jot It Down along with the Good and the Beautiful this year with my kiddos. Next up for my kindergartner, she is 4, she will be 5 here this summer. We have been chugging along with learning how to read, and we also use, like I said before, we use the Good and the Beautiful. She is so excited to be moving up to level 1. She actually just started this today for her handwriting. My son will be using the one that's before level 1, which I'll show you in a second, but she'll be working 1 page at a time through her level 1 writing, and so I can flip through this a little bit for you. Let's see, I'll try to center that up a little better for you. Okay, so obviously still working on those letters and trying to fit them in the box for proportion. Also, they'll be, coloring their jars and doing little squigglies and things to get more hand control and muscles in their hand to hold a pencil. So you'll be some dot to dots with some numbers. I have used the Good and the Beautiful for our handwriting with all of my kids since the beginning, and it has been absolutely wonderful. I really like it. This is kind of the beginning stuff. You do the letter, and then they give you a dot to, go ahead and do it again. And then all the way at the end, so let's see, this says God made plants. So obviously still have the Christian views in there, pray always with the Bible verse, and then all the way at the end, so it starts with just like the little letters and the boxes, and then they'll be moving all the way to copying like a whole sentence. The river runs fast. So it gets significantly harder at the end. And again, I don't try to force my child to get this done in one traditional, like 8 to 9 month public school year. We just work on it as we go. We work at her own pace. So it is delightful and it's not a struggle, because kids do not learn when they are upset and they are struggling. Nothing is sinking in. So we just work at the child's pace. So that's the level 1 handwriting. Then we're moving on. So actually right now she's in the level K course book. We just move on to the next level whenever it is finished. So when this is finished, depending when that will be, I did not buy her level 1 because she has just started level K just a month or so ago. So the level K has been redone since my oldest has done it, and it is pretty great as always. I will say, because the good and the beautiful is so comprehensive, there's phonics cards that come with this. There's like spelling lists and all sorts of things. And I'll be honest with you, I don't use the phonics cards. My kids haven't needed the phonics cards for more practice. They've just learned right from the workbook, and we've had no problems. So once again, have your curriculum work for you. Don't be working for the curriculum. So if the phonics cards aren't bringing joy into your schooling experience, by golly, just put them to the side. There is no reason why you should be using them. If your child's not ready for spelling, you know what? Put spelling to the side for a year or two and let it come naturally through copy work. You don't have to keep it really dry with just lists. I'm not into just lists. I'd rather just have them learn through copy work and through reading. So my daughter, like I said, started this a couple months ago, level 1. This is really great. The kindergarten, short and sweet. I mean, short and sweet, and they are done. Like, do one lesson. Even though she may want to keep going, because she's like, wow, Mom, I read all this. This is awesome. I'm just like, nope, we're going to do it again on the next day, because I don't want them to get so worn out and then they get upset. Let them continue on a different day, keep the levels high, the spirits high, and don't push them until exhaustion, because then it'll put a bad taste in their mouth. But she is doing really good, and we're chugging along with this. She's all the way on, I think, 23. So I'll be, like, for example, of how I don't do the phonics cards that come with this, and I don't do the spelling lists, or I just change things up as I need to. There's been this story right here, Bobby and the Big Road. My daughter is not interested in me reading this story to her at all. So guess what? We're not. She would rather read her easy reader books that come with this curriculum and other stories than listen to this. And you know what? I'm totally okay with it. So in this case, though, if your child wants this to be read to them, they would read what's in red, like the little words. But my daughter doesn't like it, so we just don't, and we skip it, and she's not losing out on anything. So she's just finished lesson 23. We're not doing Bobby and the Big Road. And we will be moving on to lesson 24. So this is the level K for language arts with the good and the beautiful. Like I said, I printed this on pink paper. Otherwise it would be in white paper. I ripped it out of the inside of here. I laminated it, and we go through this one sight ladder a day. Once she has it mastered and she knows these words, she gets to write her name on the back. And this is like such a huge deal with my kids, that they get to write their name on the back. And then they get to move on to the next sight ladder. So we're working on this one right now. And when she's finished with it, she's finished with it, and I'm not going to worry about it. Awesome. And for math, for her, before we get to math, really quick, Bob books. I will link this in the description below. I have read on many Facebook groups that I follow for the curriculums I use that some of the parents aren't really loving the easy readers that come with the good and the beautiful, specifically for level K. So that is fine. Again, don't use it. What I can suggest to you is I use them. They work fine for us. They're very random and whatnot, but that doesn't seem to bother my kid. Once again, even though it may bother you a little bit, if it doesn't bother your child, just keep going with it. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But Bob books, these are phenomenal. I will link to these in the description below. The set 1 goes perfect with the level K, the good and the beautiful language arts. My kid is flying through these. Once again, if you don't know what Bob books are, they're just very simple, you know, Matt, Sat, Sam, Sat, things like that. Perfect. This goes excellent. A lot of families feel that the easy readers with the good and the beautiful, obviously besides being really random, they're actually a little bit more difficult than what's being taught at that time in the book. So they don't feel that the levels match up. So if you don't want to waste your money on getting the little mini books that go with that you staple together, you can just go with Bob books, and they are excellent. All right, so for kindergarten math, for my daughter, she knows 100% of everything that's in here, but she really wanted to do math like her big sister, so I went with master books again, and the math lessons for a living education, level K. I feel level K is definitely more preschool than it is kindergarten, but you know what? I totally agree with, if you feel that your child is in between levels, like they're maybe in between kindergarten and first grade or preschool and kindergarten, go easy, start easy. You're going to build their confidence. They are going to feel like they're winning, and they're going to have a very positive experience with homeschool, where if you decided to just bump them up a level because you're not sure exactly where they fall, and it ends up being really challenging, you're in tears, they're in tears, and they're going to end up hating something when they shouldn't. So I decided to just, let's start at the beginning. Level K, this stuff, we're using this as for the things. But just like I explained in my other daughter's curriculum set, every lesson starts with the story. It's the same characters that are in my daughter's level 3. The characters are all the same, all the way from K, all the way through 6. It's really great. And then they go through. So the level K is tracing a file, learning. My daughter's way past this, but she loves it. She thinks it's amazing that she's able to do, graphing and, writing, and it's just been really good. So we honestly do like an entire lesson in 5 or 10 minutes with my 4-year-old, going to be 5-year-old. So, she also does not like me to read these stories. So you know what? I don't read these stories. Even though these stories correspond with some of the stuff that's being taught in the book, I can obviously figure out kindergarten, preschool math. I don't need to read the story from them to tell me. But it goes along with the worksheet. So we will do exercise 1, 2, 3. So you do this on day 2, and the next day you do that page. But honestly, we do all of these pages in one sitting, and it takes us anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, depending how easy it is. And then we're like, oh, we're done with math for the day. Isn't that great? And then we move on. So we'll be flying through this. We're already, halfway through. So I think in maybe a month or so, 2 months, she'll be completely done with that math. So this is what I'll be using for my middle child for kindergarten, and then we'll just move up to level 1 when she finishes with this by the time summer starts. All right, next up for my youngest little guy, he is 3, he will be 4 in a few months, and he has not been interested in really joining us very much for school, so I have been sneaky in all of the things that he watches on TV and does on a tablet and toys that he plays in order to just keep him rolling, and he's loving it. So I just bought the doodles and pre-writing for littles from The Good and the Beautiful. This usually is what you would buy for like your preschooler, possibly your kindergartner. Remember, every child is different. Do not compare your child to other children. God has made them unique to who they are. So this is curves, loops, waves, and spirals. So here I started doing one page. My son, I don't know if it's with boys or not, but he's just not really into coloring. He doesn't really like it. So I don't care if he doesn't want to color it. And we only do this when he wants to. I don't force my kids to do something that they don't want to do, especially when they're very young, because it's going to put a sour taste in their mouth. They're just always going to be pushing back on you. When they're ready, they will be ready. So they'll see their older siblings doing it and they will just want to join in eventually. So, you know, connecting dots to dots and doing all of this. So there are 3 sections in this book. Lots of coloring. All my kids really liked this. Let's see. You have your little certificate at the end. But then it goes into, it does have, you know, some letters in there towards the end. And this has just been great with pencil control, building the muscles in the hands. So that is The Good and the Beautiful's pre-writing for little doodles. It's a cute little book. I like it a lot. And then he's very excited. He told me today that he has his own school book. We're going to be doing the PreK course. From The Good and the Beautiful. All of my kids have gone through this and my kids have had no problems reading. I just think this is a really solid program. So there's PreK, and then after PreK, the next level would be PreK primer. And I highly suggest you don't skip primer. That's after this level. It's just really gonna cement it all in. So you have your course book. Once again, what I love about The Good and the Beautiful is that you read what's in blue, and then you read to your child what is in black. And this has been just really great. So you're just going to go through this. This program is going to teach your child all of their letters, all their letter sounds, their vowels, looking for details in cute pictures. And this has just been a ton of fun going through this with all of my kids. Now, this will be the 3rd time I'm going through this program, and I love it every time. It's been really great. And what they have changed from when my oldest was doing this program is they added in, because they just had this book when my oldest went through it. Now they have flip books, and they'll tell you in the book when to bring these out. So you would have them flip through and match the A's, the uppers and the lower cases, and be like, dog, let's try to find a D, and then you have to flip through. So this has been a lot of fun. Now, I will say every child is completely different. I know my oldest, if I had this with my oldest, she would have loved this. So it breaks it down through every letter. But my middle child, Mia, is nothing like my oldest, and she did not like these. We hardly ever used these. But I know my little guy is going to love this. You know what I substituted these books for when my daughter didn't want anything to do with it is just those wood letter puzzles. And we would just go through, you know, the big chunky letter puzzle, and we would reinforce letters that way instead of using the flip books. Also, what I love that they've added to this PreK course from The Good and the Beautiful are all the games to reinforce this. There's like a little block, you roll it, they have to tell you what the letter is, the color is, things like that. Whoop. Oh well, I dropped that. And also, I have all these in bags, but there's like the number slider. Once again, they tell you when to use these, and we've played these games over and over and over and over again. They're printed on cardstock, like really shiny, waxy. And this like totally cemented it in for my kids' hide and seek pets. And you know, it's just so cute. All the little things, they have letters and you're hiding like a little animal underneath it. I mean, it is awesome. This one is fun. There's a fly on it, and you lay them all out and you say, find the L, and you give them a fly swatter and they swat it. They really like that. Mouse house, once again, all letters. And then, you know, matching games. Letter memory. This one was a cute one. Feed the elephant. You cut the little slot in here, and You have to tell them to feed the elephant peanuts. I mean, these are all the games that come with it. It is wonderful. My daughter she totally thrived with it. So this is what we're going to be using for my little guy who's 3. He's going to be 4 later in the summer, in a few months, and he's going to like it. I just have a feeling. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is leapfrog. So because my son is only 3 years old, we have been going through a lot of leapfrog. Now there's tons of different packages of leapfrog. I buy all my stuff on Amazon. Yes, I have DVDs. I know like some of you guys are like, oh my gosh, everything is digital and we are up with the 21st century in our household. But I will tell you this, when your internet goes out, but you still have electricity and your kid, and you still want to keep rolling and they want to watch TV and whatever, it is really nice to have DVDs. So I bought like a box set. I will link to this below in the description box of all these leapfrog movies. All of my kids have and are watching this. I keep them in a certain order. My son watches one of these a day, just one. Like we're not going through all of them. We just do one a day and we keep with the order. So then these, so all of these here, they don't get old. So if you're just watching one a day, they just don't get so stale. And he's been watching these for well over a year, one a day, like I said, and he still loves watching his one leapfrog every day. This is his school, so we use this for his school. And we haven't even started the Good and the Beautiful with any formal. We've done no formal lessons in learning letters and sounds, and he still knows all of his letters, and he knows several of his sounds all by watching these leapfrog movies. So don't discount really good educational DVDs. These would be a great gift as well for like grandparents. So if you have your kids going to grandparents' house or aunt and uncle or whatever for some babysitting, and you may be worried about what they're watching on TV, these would be a great gift set to bring to grandparents, and they can watch them at their house. So we definitely use television in our home as a part of our education. Now, lastly, these are some extra resources I'm going to be bringing in periodically to my kiddos that we're all going to do together as a family. So I have these forest school books. I can definitely link to these in the description box. Play the Forest School Way and A Year of Forest School. So being outdoors is really important to my family. There are forest schools around the country. Check Facebook or Google or whatever, and you could probably find a local forest school in your area. There's not a ton of them, but when I bought these books and I was reading, through the introduction and all of this stuff, what is forest school, playing through the year, it tells you exactly how you can start your own forest school. So, maybe down the pipeline, I might want to start like a co-op or something that is specifically a forest school. I have no idea. We camp a lot. We have an RV. We do a lot of road schooling. So I'll be coming to you with more videos on that. But I want to do a thing where once a week, I take my kids outside. I'm going to be like, all right, we're going to be I'll pull out an activity in here, woodland jewelry. It tells you, things that a location you should go, 4 years plus, what you're going to be learning and focusing on, and it just walks you through what you want to do. So there's a lot of forest preserves in my area that we can easily do this, or right in my backyard, luckily. So I have a prairie in my backyard with some really beautiful trees, whatever. But we're just going to see how this year forest school goes. I know I'll probably make a video on how we're incorporating this, but if you want some more interesting and different outdoor activities, I would suggest getting these books. Also, look into Wild and Free. I'm sure there could be a local Wild and Free group in your community, and you can find that at wildandfree.com. I can link to that down below to be sure. And also Facebook, you can find your local Wild and Free that would go great with these resources. Another thing I'm going to use, take my little Post-it off here. This is also from Master Books. I'm not a big science girl. I love language arts and music and things like that. But this is a God's Design, a Life for Beginners. This is more of like a preschool, kindergarten science. Now, what I like about this is I bought this on sale for, I want to say like $20, like 2 years ago. So I've like hung on to this for a long time. It's around $40 normally for regular price. And what I like about it is what I plan to do. Let me tell you what I plan to do. These are all perforated and they're obviously hole punched. I'm going to rip these pages out as I use them, the lessons, so roots and stems, for example. And obviously, what do roots do? So you explain that. I plan on like photocopying this so I can use it for as many kids as I need. They can do some copy work. But to beef this up for my almost 8-year-old, I am going to go to the library and I'm going to find more books on whatever that week's topic is. That way, because this would be way too old or way too easy for my 1st and 2nd grader. So I can easily beef this up with library books for free. And she's still getting a really good science lesson. And, you know, you can add in projects that you want. This has scripture in there if you want to do that, you know, more coloring. But again, make the curriculum work for you. Don't work for your curriculum. No curriculum is going to be perfect. So what I love is just, it has so many different things. Obviously, we're talking about plants right now, photosynthesis, arranging of leaves, flowers, and fruits. But it also has the human body in there. So when we're ready to move on to something else, use YouTube to beef up more, you know, for more advanced videos with your kids. So you can use this simple book that I initially bought for my preschooler and beef it up all the way through, you know, early to middle elementary school. So I plan on incorporating this for our science this year, just so I can be a little bit more structured in what I am teaching and not just being all over the place, because that tends to happen sometimes. Another thing that I am going to be incorporating into my morning time with all of my kids is Maestro Classics. I've obviously printed this out and I put it in a binder. All of their stuff, for the most part, comes in PDFs. I have all of my resources on my computer and I can just print it out as I need. I have the digital copies of all the songs, so I'll just show you one of the things I printed out here. The Carnival of Animals, Stories in Music. It'll talk about the composer of that piece of music, Camille Saint-Saëns, and a little bit about his life, so you have a composer study. And then there's a poem that goes along with this piece of music for the Carnival of Animals. So I'd read that to my kiddos while they're listening to the music. And then there's another piece of music that goes with it. You can do that, and then our players and whatnot. But I bought, there's 12 different pieces of music. I have bought a bundle. You can actually get these on CD if you want to, but I got them as MP3 downloads, and then it comes with a file with worksheets to build on this, because this seems really simple, but I am a lover of classical music. I listen to classical music every day. My kids listen to it in the car while we're driving. So I just wanted to bring more classical music into our life through a really simple and fun and easy early elementary music study. So I'm using Maestro Classics to that. I can link to it below the website, and you can take a look for yourself. They have sales quite often as well. And lastly, art. I am using this from The Good and the Beautiful. I bought it when it was on sale. This is also a PDF download, so I have this on my iPad. So I pull it up often on my iPad, but sometimes it's just nice to print it and to hole punch it. So I organize this by like, oh, week 1, 2, 3, or these are all the projects that are in there. So I just labeled it with, I just numbered it. What I like is the master list. This is everything you're going to need. And miscellaneous items to do every single project in here. I don't know about you, and then supply list by lesson. I don't know about you, but even though I love to do art, I don't like doing art with my kids because the mess is just out of control. But at the end of the day, I need to be better about this. So I'm going to do my very best on mine didn't print very well, so I'm saying if you're not going to print, like look at some of the pictures didn't even print, but some of it did print well. So they give you like little stencils, you could copy that out, whatever you want. Let's try to find one that actually printed well here. But they give you step-by-step instructions. So the reason why I thought about printing this out, and these are really simple, early elementary kind of art here. So I wouldn't suggest this for like older kids making little nature headbands and things like that. But this didn't print well. But the reason why I did print it, if I thought it was going to print well, is I could just hand the binder over to my oldest and be like, all right, pick something, have fun. But I would just pull this up. This is a PDF that I keep on my computer, and she can just do that if she doesn't want to do the binder. But these are just all the activities I'm choosing to do with my kids as a group and not individually, and I'm really excited about it, and hopefully it all works out well.
All right, guys, those are the resources I plan to be using for the 2021-2022 school year. If you have any questions about the resources that I'm choosing to use, please comment below, like this video, subscribe, share it with your friends that you think may be interested in using some of these materials. I am here to help you. Again, don't get overwhelmed with all of the materials that I am using. Slow and steady. I'll make another video on how I plan out my year and organize all of those materials. But again, like this video, comment. I am here to help you, and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye.